Even though we all undertake our actions with the intention of obtaining a profit, the future remains ineradicably uncertain, and there will always be a doubt about whether or not we will obtain a profit. You will tend to achieve one if you make an effort and act with great entrepreneurial alertness. But there is no guarantee. In fact, people commit pure entrepreneurial errors all the time. I commit an entrepreneurial error when I believe, a priori, that the end I am pursuing is the most important, and I choose the means, and I leap into action, believing that the costs I am taking on are worth it. But once I have completed the stages, or even before, I realize I have made a mistake. I discover an entrepreneurial error whenever I realize that the cost, the value of the ends I have given up, has exceeded the value of the end I have achieved. When, a priori, we are looking ahead to an action, we always have the intention of making a profit, but we can still commit entrepreneurial errors and notice a posteriori, when we look back, that we have sustained a net loss. Therefore, we could say that by definition, all human action is rational. I repeat, all human action is rational. You may be thinking, what is the professor saying? I know plenty of irrational people. No, ladies and gentlemen, you do not. All human action, by definition, is rational. In what sense? In the sense that a priori, human beings always act with the intention of achieving ends of greater value than the costs they plan to take on. The fact that all human action is rational by definition is perfectly compatible with entrepreneurial error and our realization, in a context of uncertainty, that we have made a mistake. Okay, let's say I'm a drunk. I've ruined my life with alcohol. I've split with my wife. My kids don't love me anymore. I got fired from my job. I have destroyed myself. So I go to Alcoholics Anonymous. We have group therapy, and we all tell each other our troubles and how we became addicted. Well, after the therapy session, I leave completely convinced that the worst thing in the whole world is the drug of alcohol, and that I am never going to drink another drop of it ever again. I leave, and there, right on the corner, is a bar. And in the window, I see a bottle of whiskey. So I go straight in and get drunk. I ask you, am I irrational? Yes? No, not at all. I am perfectly rational. I have simply changed my mind. In scientific terms, every human action is rational by definition. For example, a suicide victim. Is a suicide victim irrational? Suicide victims are quite rational. End, they are fed up and want to end it all. Means, they look for a gun, or they go to the top of a tall building and jump off. Perfectly rational. Ends, means, value, utility. It is also true that when they hit the ground, they may look back and say, damn, my costs exceed the value of this. I've suffered an entrepreneurial loss. That much we do not know. But the action? Perfectly rational. There is another concept of rationality. It is also narrow and unquestionable, but less so. And Mises subscribes to it on occasion. Mises says that in a socialist system, there can be no rational action, nor any rational economics. His concept of rationality is as follows. An action is rational if, when the actor performs it, he or she has the knowledge necessary to complete it. So Mises says that since socialism prevents the entrepreneurial flow of creativity, the flow of the first-hand information necessary to give a coordinating quality to human actions, action is irrational. However, these definitions of rationality are narrow and scientifically imprecise. I repeat, all human action, to the extent that it is deliberate human behavior, is by definition rational. I have to laugh when in economics debates, mathematical economists complain that people do not behave rationally. My model hasn't worked because people don't behave rationally. And I think, ha! Your model hasn't worked because people always behave rationally, and your model is a piece of crap. They blame people. They blame society for the fact that their model is not applicable. That's ridiculous. Let's be reasonable. They are probably the ones at fault, because they are using analytical tools that cannot be used to study phenomena in which human creativity plays a leading role. Such phenomena are the object of study in economics. Perfectly rational. And now that we are in the midst of an economic crisis, we often hear economic agents are irrational because they are saving rather than consuming. So every household is saving, and every company is saving. And it turns out those in charge are all idiots. And the only smart person is the one in office or the economist with his model. No, every human action is rational. And in this case, if people are saving, it is because that is what they want to do. Furthermore, it is what they should do to clean up their balance sheets, pay back their loans, and lay the foundations for the subsequent recovery. This is important because it is one of the huge differences between the approach to economics we teach here and what has been the standard approach to economics up to now. The standard approach began in the last century and has now entered a crisis. This approach is taught using mathematical models, and you will study it next year. Nearly everything you will study next year is a lie, but learn it, okay? It is necessary to gain a good command of the language which is often used, especially in scientific articles, parliamentary debates, etc. Fortunately, I will make sure that in your first year you receive the necessary vaccine against the virus you'll be exposed to next year.